Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Wuthering Waves value discussion. And this time, it's not really going to be about who's a must pull. It's not going to be about who's going to save your account. It's actually going to be on the units that I feel like players across the globe, players across every single walk of skill level, wish that they could refund. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is almost like the opposite of the value discussion. The most dishonorable mentions on the roster, characters that people feel like bricked their astrites, bricked their savings, and if they had the opportunity to, they would give it all back and delete them right off their account. And don't worry, this list isn't going to be that long. This list isn't going to be that crazy because, at least in my personal opinion, Kuro Games has done a pretty stellar job of making a lot of recent releases, and some of the older ones as well, great picks. However, there are still a lot of artifacts on the roster that just really can't get the job done anymore, or could never really get the job done in the first place, and kind of just exist as complete, utter jokes. And maybe this will be an opportunity as well for some of the player base and maybe Kuro Games to discover maybe some ways to fix these units, maybe some ways to add additional picks to the roster to maybe make them not feel so bad. So without further ado, we're actually going to be starting from release order. Yes, typically we're doing reverse release order, and the rules are going to be simple. It's going to include 5-star units, limited 5-star units, not standards because you can't really choose whether or not you get them. And then we'll move forward from there. The first pick on the roster, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very, very simple. And that one is going to be none other than Yinlin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, people have recognized, I think for a very long time now, that this unit is possibly one of the biggest pieces of dog in the game. And the only thing that is like a saving grace for Yinlin is the fact that while you were pulling her, you might have pulled her weapon, Stringmaster, as well. And I think this is kind of like one of the main reasons for why Yinlin isn't like more universally critiqued, simply due to the fact that, hey, her weapon is still incredibly high value because of how general use case it is, but the actual character itself is one of the worst things we've ever seen in the history of the game. And I don't need to go very far beyond the skill menu to just talk to you about why she's so You can see over here, I haven't really even invested into maxing her skills out, because let me just show you this. This character's ultimate just straight up deals, even at max level, like 800% motion value. That is one of the lowest motion values that a sub DPS can even have in this game. And it's not like Yinlin has like insane damage buffs. Ooh, 10% for 4 seconds. Ooh, 15% crit rate for 5 seconds. It's decent, right? But it's not enough to make up for the fact that none of her abilities do anything. Yes, this is her coordinated attack damage, ladies and gentlemen. It is 78.64. And yes, this can strike down like 1 time every second and stuff like that. But like, bro, it's almost no damage as you get over the course of, well, any endgame content. You're just like sitting there, you see it jump down and it does like 3,000 damage. And you're just like, oh great, I didn't see the enemy's HP bar move. Combine that with the fact that this coordinated attack ends if the enemy dies. She's useless in Wuthering Waves because her coordinated attacks will never hit, and then they never do any damage in the first place. So this attack doesn't do damage. We've already seen it. This attack does no damage. And then guess what? Bro, is this a level... That's the level 10 ability. Is that even real? The first tick does 150, like 180% motion value, and then the second one is like 360. It's like, bro, you might have... Sometimes it feels like you're not even attacking the enemy. And the main problem with Yinlin, as you're probably recognizing, is that this character feels like you just invest all these resources into building her, and you get absolutely nothing back on the damage side. All I need to do is show you one attack from a more modern sub DPS named Chakota. Check this shit out. That's Chakota's motion value on the initial cast of her liberation, where you just see over here that it just deals 1,100 damage. Every other sub DPS that has just gotten released after, right, Rosia, heading into like 2 point whatever and beyond, they just deal so much more damage, it's crazy. Some could call that power creep, right? Chakota kind of is balanced by the fact that her buffs aren't actually like that strong, But the issue is that even characters that do have strong buffs, like well, would you look at that shit? Yep, her foot shot over here just does way more damage than anything Yinlin has. It's nuts. Right? And we all know that is like 3 times the character that Yinlin is, but still ends up feeling balanced. And that just shows how absolutely undertuned and what a complete fucking mistake this character happens to be. And I am 99% sure, especially with the release of Lene, who's like a better partner for Xiangli Yao than Yinlin, right? Arguably so. A lot of people just wish they could take her back. A lot of people just wish they could put her back in the bin. And this is definitely not a unit you want to get anywhere close to unless she gets a massive fucking rework on any rerun banner, any like free 5-star. I don't know what the hell Kuro has planned for the anniversary. Avoid her like the plague unless there's something big coming for her. It's time to move on to the next unit. And this is going to be one that's probably going to upset a lot of people. And it's actually the unit that got released right after Yinlin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could refund Jinhsi, and I wish I could refund her skin too, because one thing is abundantly clear. I've never seen a character get abandoned this hard by a developer before. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Jinhsi has been used, thrown away, and thrown into the fucking bin like a fucking condom. I don't even know how to describe it because it's obvious what she needs to succeed. It is obvious what she needs to be a strong character. She needs somebody that has off-element coordinated attacks and then buffs resonant skill damage by 50% on outro skill. She basically just needs, right, like a for resonant skill damage that also has coordinated attacks built into their kit. It's not difficult. It's not like insane what's being asked for over here. It's just she hasn't gotten it yet. And she's the 3rd unit that ever released in the history of the game. And we're kind of just out here like looking, waiting, seeing that she's a pile of fucking shit. She feels like she can't clear floor 4, and oddly enough, she's decent in like end state matrix because she has like a like total damage buff. But this is a character that feels like they should have aged very gracefully. This is a character that felt like they should have just gotten their best in slot sub DPS, but instead they have to share Jeja with Carlotta. And guess who still clears all the endgame content? Carlotta. And guess who can't? This. It's like Jeja basically has to be split between these 2 characters, and you're never gonna choose her. So she just kind of like sits there with the sloppy seconds of basically everybody else on the roster, and you're beginning to wonder why you still even have her. And while I did say I would refund her, right, if I had the opportunity to, I would take that back if she actually had a proper sub DPS partner. Because, like I mentioned before, her best in slot is G-Jaw of all fucking units. And guess what G-Jaw buffs? 25% resonant skill and then 20% glacio. So like 20% of G-Jaw's outro skill doesn't even do anything. And she's the best in slot for this. How does that even make sense, bro? Doesn't that just seem like a joke? Doesn't that just seem slightly ridiculous? Doesn't that just seem absurd that this character's best in slot 20%, right? That 20% on her outro skill doesn't fucking do anything. And that's the case. That's unfortunate, but that is the reality, ladies and gentlemen. That is the unfortunate reality of owning this character. You're just seeing all of her best in slot teammates just go run off with somebody else. And while most people are okay with having Carlotta steal, I don't know, their Jinhsi's teammates, well, it's been like almost 2 fucking years at this point, and this unit is some fucking doo-doo water. Yes, she's just fucking doo-doo water. And the craziest thing is that even like she got fucked on the Nightmare Echo side. Where's the Nightmare Jue, motherfucker? Bro, all she gets is 16%. Bro, all she gets, like, what is the buff? She gets 16% resonant skill. All the other 1.x units got, like, 12% attribute and then 12% damage time. And she's just sitting here still with 16. Where's her Nightmare Jue? Huh? Why don't she have one? Why has everyone else got one? Look at this shit. What the fuck? Everyone else got shit like this. She's still over here with, like, regular Jue. They all have like 8% more damage bonus than her. They're passive effects. She got fucked hard. I don't even think anyone can dispute that. And because of that, seeing this unequal level of treatment where she's just getting cooked this fucking hard, I'm gonna be real, I wish I could refund her, and I think most people agree. Xiangli Yao's actually not gonna be here because I got him for free, and I also pulled his weapon. And the thing is, his weapon actually ends up being good and one of the best weapons ever because it can be straight up just plopped onto Yuno and have no issues at all. So I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, Xiangli Yao might be considered. Well, you get value out of his weapon and then you get value out of him too. So there's really no way he can be in this conversation. Now, moving forward. This is going to be a 2-for-1. I now wish I could refund Camellia as well as Rosia at the same time. And the reason why I want to refund Camellia is because Rosia was added to the game. Camellia got fucked so hard by the release of Rosia, it's insane. Because Camellia essentially had this waiting for her prior to Rosia's release. People know that she's a Havoc basic attacker, right? And they were just like, surely, knowing how well Carlotta works with Jeja, Camellia is going to get a Havoc basic attack amplifier that's going to make her like Carlotta. Or that's going to make her like Carlotta. That's what everyone thought because Carlotta was so good with Jeja. They were just like, her best in slot sub DPS is going to be exactly the same. No, she got this piece of shit. This absolute fucking waste of resources, both on the development side over at Kuro Games, both on the story writer side over at the writing department, and of course, on every player's fucking account who made the mistake of pulling her. Some people even pulled 7 copies of her. For some fucking reason. I guess we'll never know. This unit is so shit, it's unbelievable. She is shit to build, feels like garbage because you somehow need to get 70% crit rate on her to max out her shitty buff. When she has crit damage nodes on the side, they could have just made these crit rate and made you not want to do something in Minecraft, grinding her echoes. She needs 130% ER because she doesn't generate any energy in her rotation. And she also is technically the best amplifier for Camellia. But she doesn't fucking buff attack at all. Her attacks do no fucking damage. Just shit damage everywhere. The damage is just shit in every way possible. And has one of the most annoying and long rotations in the game. Where you first gotta like turn into this stupid ass, goofy ass tornado. And then bounce 3 times. And it takes forever. It takes so long, it's so unwieldy, and you don't get any damage in return for doing it, guys, that people have done the testing. And for Camellia, Sanhua is better. Sanhua gives you higher damage per second than using Rosia. Even though Camellia should be the best in slot 4 Rosia, Sanhua is better. That is how bad and poorly balanced and just shit this unit is, where she gets outperformed by a fucking 4-star who has nothing more than Moonlit Clouds and a Slim Jim equipped. Yes, a Sanhua with fucking Overture, 1300 attack, and Moonlit Clouds, right? And like no skills, none of this, at S6 is better than a fucking Rosia in pretty much every single circumstance. It is unbelievable how dog shit this unit is, and that has essentially sealed the fate for Camellia. Yes, guys, and that's one of the reasons for why I want to refund Camellia. Because this over here, right? This horrifying outro skill being attached to a horrifying character. That means that Camellia's ceiling, ladies and gentlemen, has been met. And the only way for us to get any additional level of performance for this unit is to have like a 50% basic attack buffer on outro skill. And if that happens, maybe Camellia can sort of get back into the meta conversation. Potentially. Possibly. It'd be wonderful. But that would just mean that this unit is 1000% in the bin. She has no use cases in any team ever, except for one. And this is the one saving grace of Rosia, but most people would say it's not a saving grace that's high enough to be refunded. Rosia is a homeless unit outside of one team in one type of situation. And this is where she isn't homeless. It's in Whimpering Waves. And the teammate that she needs to be with is Frolova. Because your Chu Yan is cheating on Frolova and is with Sigrika instead. And so you're looking for the best possible 3rd slot in the Frolova Cantarella team. And it just so happens that Rosia works okay there. This is her only home. And she only has this home if you have Sigrika. That's it. So you have to pull Sigrika for Rosia to have a home. Otherwise, she is the worst possible option for like every team composition ever. That's rough. That's brutal. And you need to pull Skip Rika, the character that everyone is skipping for Rosia to have a home. And I know this because I happen to have those characters, but guys, that's the situation. And that's pretty fucked up, isn't it? You need to have Chu Yan, Sagrika, all these other units for this not to be the biggest piece of shit ever. Oh my gosh, what a fucking disaster. And next, you're gonna notice, guys, it's a lot of the 2.x units we've talked about over here. I want to refund Phoebe. I want to refund Zani. I'm sorry. This is the most shit-feeling character, I think, in the game. I have never seen a character feel this clunky before, where you essentially have to do dodge cancels, right, in a repeated way, in like a super annoying way too. Even when she's a sub DPS, bro, you gotta be doing these goofy-ass dodge cancels because her animations are so fucking long, it's unreal. I have never seen a character as a sub DPS that feels this unwieldy to play, and you've got to do so many of them. Yes, Chakota has some cancels and stuff, but at least Chakota isn't a piece of shit, because this unit as a sub DPS can only be used in one team. Yes, it's with this piece of fucking human filth, this piece of absolute goddamn garbage over here. Zani. Kuro Games themselves, ladies and gentlemen, have recognized that this unit is a pile of shit. That's why they decided to run Zani and Phoebe in the second phase of 3.2, the patch right before the anniversary, where top-up bonuses are reset, all that stuff, right? And they're running them alongside Lene, who's actually a must-pull unit. So they put the must-pull and then 2 literal bench warmers on the banner because everyone knows that they are not popular. Their reruns did not do well. They're actually some of the lowest owned units in the game because they're so unwieldy and their kits are so unintuitive. And that's just the reality of it, guys. I wish that I could just delete the Spectro Frazzle archetype from my account now that Luke is out here. Because she was the best Spectro DPS in the game, but required all of this shit over here, right? This fucking unit. She definitely wants her signature too. All that shit. And the result that you end up getting is that unless you quick swap with this fucking nightmare of a unit, you just don't clear any content at all. Or you need some demonic echo build, right? Where you're like running Phoebe 2 for her 100% amp, but you need like 136 ER, you're doing like double intro clears or some shit like that. So many hoops to jump through that just doesn't even rival or get close to the performance of pretty much any other modern team that got released alongside her. You don't get any bang for your buck over here, and people are really, Zani mains are just individuals with sunk cost fallacy because they went into debt. They took out a loan to buy this unit during the anniversary, and they're still trying to get their money's worth because she just does not function in any reasonable way unless you're playing this game like a job. And remember what I said about them taking out loans to pull this unit? They're all broke, worthless losers, bro. And that is the player base of this fucking character. And by proxy, this character too. However, if you're playing DPS Phoebe, I guess it's okay, right? I kind of wish I could just refund confession mode, because I think DPS Phoebe, you actually feel like you're doing something with your cancels, right? You actually feel like you're playing the character because she actually does fucking damage in the first place. But when she's a sub DPS and still requires her brain dead cancels like that shit just to like get any reasonable time because of how dog shit this character is. Disaster. Absolute disaster. Yeah, cut her in half and refund her. Yeah, it's like the shit your mom was trying to do when you like when you were at the grocery store. Moving on.
The tides have whispered of your arrival.
I think she deserves an honorable mention because if you don't have Frolova, yes, you want to refund this character. And the thing is that if you have this character, you're essentially committing yourself to pulling Frolova. And so I would dare say, if no one has any plans to pull Frolova and they happen to have this unit, they 1,000,000% wish they could refund her because she is so shit, it's unbelievable. She is so shit without Frolova, it's unbelievable. Not even a real character. She's so reliant on Frolova to function, but then Frolova doesn't need her. If you're somebody that is not planning on pulling Frolova, do not get close to this unit. Do not even get slightly close to her because she will do nothing on your account. Actually, functionally, nothing on your account except be like a Jinhsi B team support. And if that's what you're ending up doing, oh fuck, your shit is more cooked than I could have thought anyways. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna put her for now. Fine, great even if you have Frolova, but if you don't and you don't have any plans to, don't even get close to this character. And now, The last unit. And you could probably imagine who this was going to be. And, well, you'd have to be kind of dumb to not know who this was going to be.
Scissors at the ready.
It's Chisa, ladies and gentlemen. Because this is what I would have preferred instead. I wish I didn't even know this unit existed until after version 3.3. I think that the optimal path to anyone with Chisa on their account was to just pretend she wasn't there until version 3.3. Because Denya has the fusion burst, right? It's obvious from the hints that we've been shown with the chromatic foam set in-game. Denya's a fusion burst character. Amith is a fusion burst DPS. But on this team's release, or really on this unit's release, in like November of last year, bro. She released in November. She's only had one team. And it's April. It's been 5 months, and this support unit has had one team. One fucking team. And she requires her signature to be better than the completely free option of Arrow fucking Rover. Yes, Arrow Rover with Blood Pack's Pledge is literally better than Chisa in the Arrow Erosion team, unless Chisa also has her fucking sig. So you need a combination of owning this character plus having their signature to be better than the free option in the only team she has. And yes, people thought, oh, Chisa reran in 3.1 because, yeah, they released the Fusion Burst Amos. Without Denya, this team is shit, bro. It's not even slightly playable. There's no context or content where you're playing the Fusion Burst Amos team unless you're just trolling. Unless you're just goofing around, trying shit out for fun and having like a goofy time, bro. There's no context where you use it. And so you just use the Toon Rupture Amith team, and this unit is just still. She only has one team. And it's been 5 months since she released, bro. It's been 5 fucking months, and people are slating. She might get some more teams in 3.3, thinking Hiyuki's Glacial Chafe, knowing that Denya's Fusion Burst, and I know she will, right? And I'm happy for her. But the optimal decision anyone should have made was to just not pull this unit, not pull her fucking sig, and just pull her during the fucking anniversary. That should have been the move for anybody. Just pull her during the anniversary banner and pretend that she wasn't fucking there otherwise. And that's why I wish I said I could refund her, because I genuinely did think there's no way Kuro's gonna take a unit like this that's this popular and just put them in the fucking bin for 5 months. But they did. She still has only one team. And yes, the anniversary's coming out very soon and she should have more, but that's a really long time for a character to be functionally useless. Because this character, with Arrow Rover's existence in the game and the fact that she's like 5% better, bro, she was trash. She was useless. She was, without a doubt, the worst fucking pull in the game because she didn't do anything. She changed nothing on your account. You would pull her weapon, invest all this shit into building her, and nothing would change because she would be worse than Verita in any team that wasn't negative status. And it's not like we had any fucking negative status teams. And my favorite part about her being so shit, guys, is the fact that, like, she didn't work with the only other negative status team in the game. Probably because the design of these two units was so fucking cursed, it was unbelievable. Bro, she didn't even work with the Spectro Frazzle team. Like, that is just brutal. And it's like a testament to, like, how shit these two are. But it's also a testament to how, like, kind of underbaked negative statuses as a whole were. I think Kuro's trying to delete Spectro Frazzle from the game. I'm gonna be honest, just give Zadi and Phoebe a resonance mode and just like, hey, just wash it all away and just delete the other one. Or make the other one so, like, make the new one so much better that it auto deletes the other one. Because this unit's uselessness across this entire time is the biggest example of, like, the need of a Control-Z button in this game. Just delete Spectro Frazzle. And thankfully, every unit that we've had since then, right, from 3.x onward, they have not suffered even close to the same fate as this character. And I know she's going to resurge soon, but honestly, this unit could have came out in the second half of version 3.2. Honestly, they should have just delayed Chisa, right? Had her not even be on banner in the game until the second half of this patch. Low key, she should have just been in the second half as the new character in 3.2. Her release would have made like 30 times more sense. Her release would have just been like functionally so much more meta relevant, and instead, she's just had the reputation of the worst pull in the game, potentially, for 5 months. And it'll get better soon, but good golly gee, I wish I could have had all those pulls back and then spent them when she was actually not a gigantic piece of shit. And I think 99% of players that have her signature, have all of this stuff, I think they wish the exact same thing. Because how do you think Chisa's rerun did, bro? Bro, do you think anyone pulled that when she's still a piece of shit? No, she was a piece of shit on her first rerun. She's a piece of shit now, and she might get a little bit better in the future, but we still need to see. That's going to be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen, for the characters that I think everybody who's had some experience with this game, who's pulled a lot of units, who's seen the potential of the roster, characters that people wish they could refund. And the list is actually pretty small, but there's a reason for why so many characters are on there. And hopefully, with the talk that I've had today, you too were able to recognize, well, who to maybe skip as we head into the anniversary. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.